World of Warcraft has a new expansion on the way, but even though this is the 7th major addition to Blizzard's MMO, it still might be a good place for newbies to join. At BlizzCon 2017, we talked with WoW production director John Haidt about that new player experience and what features will be introduced in the newly announced expansion. You can read our full interview below, or catch up on some of the big BlizzCon news you might have missed right here. And in other big Warcraft announcements, we also have a feature focusing on some of the big questions raised by the legacy server World of Warcraft Classic that was also announced at the show. The transcript below has been edited for content and clarity. I feel like the Horde and the Alliance have actually been getting closer and closer together, but Battle for Azeroth pushes the two sides apart again. It's really focusing on that original faction experience. But what was the impetus to separate the two again? John Haidt, as they have been historically right? They'll come together, they'll fight a common foe, and then the rift will form. And this is a pretty big rift that occurred during Legion. It was kind of an uncomfortable alliance between the Alliance and Horde to defeat a common foe, the Legion. But now that the Legion is defeated, spoilers, but I think everyone knows that at some point we're going to end the expansion. Things happened that left scars between the two sides. And then things happen in the opening of Battle for Azeroth that cement it. Some of the imagery that you'll see is the scene is with Sylvanas standing in front Teldrassil on fire. Then with the opening cinematic, that event was right before the Alliance finally says, okay, we've had it, before they assault Lord Aaron. So some pretty heavy stuff is going to happen between them. And we just felt like this would be a really cool time to go back into that age-old battle between Alliance and Horde. Having two new continents, are the cartographers in Azeroth just really, really bad at their job? How do these new landmasses keep popping up? You know, it's pretty rough out there. I mean, we've only got seafaring ships and blimps. You can't possibly see everything. Laughs. They're pretty much crossing known channels. Is it going to be something like Pandaria where it's been hidden in the mists of time? No. I mean, this was talked about in some of the fiction, and it's an area that we've avoided in the game itself. But it was in an area that's completely unknown. The whole point of it is that both sides are reaching out and trying to pull together additional allies in this big battle. And the last thing they want to do is to have one of these new areas, and people that inhabit them, fall into the hands of the other side. I've always been more of an Alliance player. But story-wise, I get a lot of flack from Horde friends who say their lore is better. The Horde has that fall from grace, which makes them feel a little bit more relatable in some ways, whereas the humans can kind of seem like the nice guys who end up being dicks. You know, that's interesting. I play Horde more, but I try to play both sides so I have a max level character on each side. And I think I go back and forth on the story myself. Sometimes I feel like, the Alliance is such a better story. The Horde should have this. It's whatever resonates with you, I think. We don't purposefully try to make the Alliance into, whatever you said, laughs. I think that the characters are pretty powerful. Anduin, in this expansion, is really coming into his own. He's now stepping up to be the king. And there's a rite of passage. Even in the cinematic that we showed, there's this discovery on his part where he basically kills off a lot of Horde people around him. And then you realize, is that really his shtick or not? And he ends up doing this big mass heal, which is more what he's about. So I think he's incorporating a little bit of his father, the Alliance, and his own identity into this. World of Warcraft's return to a classic. BlizzCon 2017 PlayStation Boss Defense Last of Us 2, COD View 2 Length revealed, GS News Roundup Call of Duty World War II Zombies, How to Get the Tesla Gun Call of Duty World War II Livestream, Screw Attack vs the Warp Zone. Xbox One X vs Xbox One vs PC, Graphics Comparison GS News Update. Here's the Call of Duty World War II quest to watch players open loot boxes. Xbox One X. The biggest enhanced games. What was missing at BlizzCon 2017? Call of Duty World War II video review. Hearthstone new dungeon run mode. Hands-on impressions. BlizzCon 2017 Overwatch Mora and Blizzard World Map. Hands-on impressions. BlizzCon 2017 Who the hell is Loki? Helping a Yeti and jumping over tar pits in Super Lucky's Tale, Gameplay share link embed size 640 x 360,480 x 270 startup in that autoplay loop. Please use an HTML5 video capable browser to watch videos. This video has an invalid file format. HTML5 auto hilo report up row.